Hi, family. I apologize if the video is shaky. I'm not using professional gear, just my hands holding the camera in front of me. So, here's a random rant, second installment in the series. Today is the 21st of December on Caesar's calendar at fake time. Not that time up there that's depicted on that calendar, which is the real way things move in a circle, in a cycle. So, not in a linear, that's just organizational purposes. So, yeah, sorry. An alarm was going off on my phone. I had to shut it off before. So, anyhow, here we are. 21st of December is the day on the Caesar's calendar that we we call the winter solstice. So it's divided into four, two equinoxes and two solstices. And December 21st marks the shortest amount of daylight that you'll receive from the sun if you live in the northern hemisphere. And of course, if you live in the southern hemisphere, it's the longest day of the year. So as we apply this organization and method of accounting for time, these concepts of space and time, we'll just, say it's the year 2023 on Caesar's calendar. You don't have to use that calendar. I don't recommend it at all. But anyway, that's another story. So back to the sacred number 4 and the cycles that we see our Mother Earth display to us with the changes in the seasons. So too we can apply this to our lives. This is the beauty of esoteric knowledge, is that once you kind of get your head around it, everything else falls into place. And as above, so below. So as within, so without. If you're not familiar with the Hermetic principles, maybe you can find that information online. But so here we are, winter solstice. And, like if we apply it to, let's say, an agricultural process. So we sow our seeds in the spring. This is the time that we place our intentions for our highest potential and the most beautiful harvest. And then comes the summer, where the growth process has been on its way, and we are out and about in the world, moving and shifting and shaking and doing whatever we're doing, right? Expressing our will, expressing our sense of self. And then comes the fall, or the autumn. And this is a time when we harvest the fields. So this is a time when it's automatic, family. You don't even have to I recommend to incorporate consciousness into it, but it's very automatic. It's very down to the genetic and all the way up to the epigenetic and beyond. It's hardwired into us. So we can pretend that this is the time for parties and fiestas and moving and shifting and shaking and jumping on airplanes and making all kinds of travel arrangements and stuff like that. But actually, if we pay attention to nature, she shows us that this is a time where we cool off, drop our leaves, allow those leaves to become the compost for the forest floor. Contemplate after we've seen what we've harvested and contemplated on what we wish to consider a good harvest, and that which we don't want to harvest into the next cycle. So we take this wintertime to allow that to fall off of us and be transformed and transmuted into back into the life-giving force, in this case where the leaves fall off onto Mother Earth. That provides the life for the next cycle of the spring time. That is the nourishment. So in this way we can, instead of sitting in a moment of blame and shame and regret and broken promises and traveling and just acting all like it's the summer, right? And in this way we remain confused, divided, dysfunctional, and it's not the proper time for that, right? Mother Nature tells us now it is the time to drop your exterior projection into the world and go into a time of silence and retreat, and the death that has to take place before the rebirth begins in the way that you want it to begin. But when we follow the rituals on Caesar's calendar, we're doing the complete opposite of what we should be doing. Let me caveat that word should, because that sounds very authoritative, and y'all know how I feel about authority. But it's not that we should, but we should if the presumption is that we wish to do, as we say on the 31st of December, when we're all liquored up and exhausted and acting outside of the natural cycle of things, to make these New Year's resolutions. Well, let me tell you, first of all, family, you're following a really different calendar, because for me, the New Year was back in July. According to the ancestors, these most recent ancestors here, and they call the Mayans, or the First Nations people, I guess, I don't know what you want to call. A lot smarter than Caesar, that's for sure. And usually without the ulterior motives, as far as I can see. I'm not really a fan of ulterior motives. I need to see, what you're about, where you're coming from, what you're asking me to participate in, and using this discernment, then I can set myself free from, oh my gosh, all of it. The one that comes to mind was, I remember, if you don't send a Christmas card to your grandmother, or what, I fill in the blank, I don't know, or just, I don't know, why does it got to be just that one day? And I don't know, always the rebellion in me to say, no, I want to do it my way. I don't want to follow the crowd. And yeah, I might not have a lot of friends, but that's okay, because I'm not here to be losing myself in the crowd. I'm here to seek the truth. I'm here to find my spiritual path of evolution, and I'm here to, just be the unique individual that I came here to be. It's easier said than done, family. But one way in which we can make it easier is if we stop participating in the rituals that are harvesting our very life essence, and go back to nature. Remember, nature comes from I don't remember exactly how old this, I want to say it's pre-dynastic Egypt, where they had a bunch of gods and goddesses of all different, fill in the blank. But then they had like one god or goddess, or it wasn't even like a gender specific. It was like O Mateo, we would say here in Mexico, Father, Mother, Creator. And they called that Natur, N-A-T-R. N-A-T-R. So that would be their sort of word for the Great Spirit or the Prime Creator or the Godhead or whatever. All that is and all that was and all that ever will be. So for me, that's the most reliable, trustworthy, and truthful teacher is nature. So, yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out and tell everybody about the different calendars and the different ways in which we set out that can either have beneficial or counterproductive effects, and just the every little day things, people, because it's your thoughts, it's your actions, it's your words, it's your beliefs. It's all a ritual. It's all powerful. So I just, would say be careful who you give your power to, because it's not to be given away. It's for you. It's for you to use and for you to tap into for your purposes and your divine will. And it's just easier when we set our foundation at a 0 point. So 0 is the first number, y'all, not 1. When we set this sail or the direction of our ship, if we're going to go from point A to point B, we need to make sure that we have correlated our journey according to the 0 point, according to the true north. And of course, we have the free will choice not to do that. We have the free will choice to ignore what nature is telling us is the time and follow along with what Caesar is telling you to do, and going and having your weekends where you're weakened further. And it's all a big construct with shed loads of options. We'll call them options, because really ultimately nothing's either good or bad in the perspective of the great mystery of the Grand Spirit. But there's choices, and once we reach a point where it's like, well, we feel pretty well satisfied after so many harvest times, after so many fall, autumn, having a look at what we've harvested. What's the exterior world look like? What have I created in the world? And we can say honestly that that we don't like it, and that's fine. Just try something else. Right? Don't say you don't like something, but then continue to give it your power. So that's kind of like rowing upstream. It's not going to work. I mean, you can do it for a while, but eventually truth always prevails. So yeah, and then if you do want to give it a try, just let me show you something real quick. See if I can do this. And this is not offensive, by the way. This is an official mudra. Okay, I'm gonna just do it with one hand because I can't hold the camera with the other one and do this. But this is Mudra. And it basically means to establish boundaries so that those that do not have your higher interests or best interests at heart to stay out of your game. And so when you have that boundary established and you change that perspective, then you'll see magic will just start to happen. Like you have to believe it first, not see it to believe it. You have to believe it to see it, right? Like, here's an example. If I didn't believe it was possible to have a conversation or any sort of type of interaction like that with a gecko, then there would not be the series called Florcito for your eyeballs to see. You see how that works? So if you want to live in a more magical, mystical way and take back your power and sow the seeds of your original blueprint of the dream of unconditional love and holistic intelligence and fulfill your objective of spiritual evolution in this sort of purgatory state that we're in, this beautiful purgatory, I might add. Thank you, Mother Earth and the sacred water, and thank you for all the plants and the animals and insects and all the whales and dolphins and everything. It's beautiful, beautiful Mother Earth. A beautiful place to learn and grow. Yet, having said that, if we fail to follow the guidance of our Mother Nature and nature writ large, including the sacred water and the teachings of the ancestors and what they had to say about this, we have that free will choice to continue down that path of self-destruction and continue to follow Caesar's rituals and ring in another new year of pain and suffering. Not necessarily. I'm not saying that your lifetime in the physical skin suit is going to be pain and suffering, but it's more of a feeling that you have when you go into your cosmic midnight hour and you're trying to navigate the bardos therein, making your choices for the next incarnation and having one of those what they call coming to Jesus moments, but you're the Jesus, you're the Christos. So yeah, that's it, family. That's it. You are the Christos, and if you want to test that out, tap into your own magic and become your own sort of, master, self-master, like instead of giving it away to take it back, then I can say, hey, this is a good time to do your little ritual, sacred, even if it's just a 30-second long prayer, to just say to yourself, thank you for this time of death, this time of silence, this time of retreat, this time of winter, this time of cooling off, and ensuring that we sow only the seeds that we choose in the spring, sowing them with clarity, integrity, honor, wisdom, reflection, introspection, consciousness, as opposed to seeding them with, confusion, chaos, disorder, disease, dissonance in the field. Because it's not just you, it's everybody. Because whatever we're putting out in the field, and the collective is the ground upon which we find ourselves treading in this experience called life. So, I'm not a great or good person. Let me get that real clear. I am not a greater good person at all. But I do recommend that it's important to recognize that which is within as is without. If I don't like what I see in the world with wholesale destruction of the planet and the rich getting richer and the middle class getting eaten up and the poor getting poorer and the water being so horribly mistreated and the land and all of it, we see these concrete jungles going up everywhere and pollution and stuff. So this would be, things that we would look at in the fall and then say, in what way do those things come about? In what seeds was this reality sown? And what perspectives and beliefs were held in order for those things to come from within ourselves and be projected and manifested into the world around us. So that's my 2 cents. And yeah, thanks, family. I hope this has been a blessing. And I look forward to catching up with you again real soon. Ciao for now.